The following show and its content are the responsibility of the show's producers and participants.
Information related in this program is not meant to substitute medical recommendations. Before starting a treatment program, you should consult your physician.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
That's right. Welcome to the Couch Live. Hello, everybody. Here on WPSN99.com. Let me turn this down a little bit. It seemed like a little bit loud. Anyway, here at WPSN99.com, the problem-solving network over here from New Smyrna Beach, Florida, where it's beautiful, nice and warm. Trinity hates it, but
it's hot.
It's nice and warm and beautiful.
It's hot.
And we got a good show for you today. This is the Couch Live, where we talk about addiction and recovery and all kinds of issues in between. And we got a real good guest in here today and a real good story. But first of all, I am the street certified dope doctor, Louis Delgado. There is the Dharma Guy right there if you're watching it on YouTube. And of course, if you're watching on Facebook Live, you're already watching it.
Yes.
But go ahead, Trinity. Let me get your little level here.
Yes, it's hot.
What?
It's always hot. You're warm as my, like, walking on the sun. It's ridiculous.
Isn't that a song?
I think I'd have to agree.
It is
with
a
Trinity.
Oh, see.
I'm from Pennsylvania, so I like the cooler weather.
Whatever.
Either
that or you're in menopause early.
I knew I liked it. I knew I liked it. I knew I liked it. She got tattoos and she's complaining about the heat.
It must be the
We're
tattoos.
like best friends.
Nice.
Maybe the tattoos create warmth.
Maybe.
Maybe I just need a bunch of them.
But it's not the heat warmth. It's just warm because we're warm people.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Like
I used to be. It's age. I'm telling you, it's age. Nobody out there that's ever been to my office.
I can't wait till I'm old then, bro.
Nobody out there that's ever been to my office as a client will ever say Louis gets
cold. I want to mark this
easy.
down in history, though.
Right.
If there is a day,
yeah.
I sincerely hope that
happens.
you
will. It'll happen.
If there's a day I wake up and I'm just cold all the time, I'm going to be the happiest dude you've ever met in your life.
Brother,
because you can fix cold.
I used to be cold all the time, and then I had children, and I think something got messed up.
It's called anger. It's called anger is what that is.
And now I'm just
mine
hot
flipped.
all the time.
I was hot all the time, and mine now turned into cold all the time, which I prefer because I'm in Florida.
You can fix it work. You can fix cold.
Exactly.
Put a blanket on. You can't fix hot.
No, you're right. You can only... You can only take so much off, exactly.
Can I get us back on track here? Am I the one getting us back on track? Listen, this is not a weather show. This is a show on addiction and recovery, and I don't want to complain about how hot it is.
Whatever.
Anyway, let's start over.
Okay.
Maria, that's our guest, by the way. She's already talking. You've already did it. That's Maria Skena.
Yeah.
That's how you say it, right? Skena?
Yeah, you did it right.
Mm-hmm. I told you. I'm a pro.
You are.
All right, Maria Skena. And Maria, there's so much about you. Now, how we met you was through a program that you actually represent. So one thing about you is as a professional, you work in the industry of addiction and recovery, right? Mm-hmm. All right. So where do you work? Who are you at? Well, I mean, who are you? Who are you at? I thought I was good at this.
Who are you?
Who are you?
Who does number 2 work for?
You learned that in interview in 101.
Well,
who you is?
I work for the Blackberry Center and the Blackberry Recovery Center. So we have 2 facilities. The Blackberry Center is for mental health. It's dual diagnosed. And then our Recovery Center is strictly for substance abuse. Okay. So I love working there and representing them. I'm a outreach specialist. So I help connect and get relationships with other people for other resources. And, people reach out to us and we can't take them in case we don't take their insurance or something. We'll always find another way for them to get help.
Yeah, like we all just did like a few minutes ago before going on the air. By the way, just tilt the microphone just a little bit down so they're closer to your mouth. There you go. All right, perfect. All right, so that's who you are now.
That's who I am now.
And initially, we would have had you on just for that. Actually, to be honest with you guys, we would have had her on just for that because they just had this opening called Heroes Mile here in town. I'm real proud of all the people over there from Oglethorpe, from Blackberry.
Yes.
They have a new facility here in DeLand, Florida, and it's for veterans, by veterans. And we'll do a whole show on veterans coming up at some point. However, then we got to meet you and understand, what got you in the business. And then it got even more interesting because it relates, and there's so many different pathways into this industry, just like there's many pathways to recovery. There's a lot of pathways into this industry. And you had a really good story about how you got in. You are not the identified client. We always talk about the identified client. You're not that person.
She's a normie.
She's a normie like you, Trinity.
I don't know if I'd call us. I don't know if anyone's normal.
Right.
We all have our. We all have our.
I've been notified I'm
things.
a normie, so I'm putting you in with me.
Okay. All right.
We're normies.
Yeah, I'm a normie.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, Trinity. The first time anyone's ever called him a normie, he was really offended.
I was like, what is that?
He goes, what is that?
Why
are they calling me a normie? So anyway, Maria, so you're from Pennsylvania.
Yes.
That's points right there.
The
Poconos.
Yeah.
There's a racetrack there.
Yeah, there is.
Right, so you're from Pennsylvania. You grew up there.
Yes.
Your entire
Born and raised.
Born and raised.
Yeah.
What's that like? What's the Poconos like?
It's amazing. I mean, the mountains. We got the Delaware Water Gap right by us.
Right.
Just hiking and bonfires. It's a great place to grow up as a kid, honestly. Yeah. You got that back roads.
Right.
You don't have to, there's not a stoplight every second like down in Florida.
Look, don't come down here to complain because you live here, so there's a reason you're here.
Well, we can get into that later. Yeah, that's another story, yeah.
That's my story, too.
I didn't plan to come here. I was kind of in a sense,
story.
I had to come here.
Yeah. Quite a few of us did.
Florida's is the Denny's of the states, man. We just end up here.
No, this was like prison at first. I had to get away to like work camp. All right, so you're in Poconos. You're enjoying life. You're with your one little stoplight, and
pretty much. Yeah.
So you grew up there. You went to high school there.
Yep.
How many graduating class are there? Is it a big school? 500 people? 200?
Not even 500. 100? No, I think it was like probably 3-something in the threes.
That's still good.
Yeah,
still good size.
Decent size.
Decent size.
Yeah.
Right. And you fall in love.
Yeah.
And you fall in love and with this
the
guy.
bad boy.
With a bad boy.
With the bad boy. Growing up.
You're in the right room.
Yeah.
All right. So you fall in love. You fall in love with a bad boy, and then what happens?
Yeah. Well, I've knew him since I was really young. We were like 8, I think, when we met. Because his brother
was
and
he bad then? Because I was already bad then.
Well, no, he was
right?
no. Well, his brother and my sister actually like dated when they were young.
Oh wait, the story got better. All right, say
that
again.
So as we got older, we just stayed in contact. And again, he was the bad boy in school. So who isn't really attracted to the bad boy? Yeah, and then when he reached out to me, I was having a house party, and he's like, "Hey, I want to come," and I was like, "All right, yeah, come on by. That's fine.
Yeah,
fine by me." And then one thing led to another. We're dating.
Right.
And then
how old were you when you started dating?
18. So this was like right after I graduated high school.
All right. So
summer,
let me pause it for a second. So 18 years old. How are you doing in school at this point?
Well, I did good. I graduated. Things were good.
That sounds like a cover-up.
No,
how were you really doing in school
was
at 18?
Good.
Come on.
Okay, well, my family's watching.
They're watching. They're listening.
I used to smoke a lot, and back in the day, but I did good. So it's funny. I didn't do so well when I was younger. Like junior high, I was like not into school. I was like, I hate school. Blah,
okay,
blah,
so
blah. I was into boys. That was my thing.
Okay.
And then in high school, though, I really, even though I started hanging out with older people.
Yeah. Older, how old? Like 40 old or like 20 old?
No. I mean, like when I was in like 10th
there's a difference,
grade,
right, Trinity?
Absolutely. I'm hanging out with like the seniors and 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, that kind of older.
That kind of old.
Yeah.
All right, so you're already, when you started dating him or going out with him, you were already smoking. And by smoking, you mean pot?
Yes.
Okay, were you smoking cigarettes as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was.
Drinking? Were you drinking?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah. Some stuff.
Look, you said you wanted to be on the show.
I know, I know.
We're gonna put all your laundry out there.
Honestly,
you could say I'd rather not answer that. By the way,
that part I'd rather not answer.
That's fine.
But nothing. Not what he was doing.
No, okay.
Not what he was doing, which we can get into that.
Okay, and how old is he at the time? 18
he's only
as well?
a year older. Yeah.
Okay.
18. Yeah.
All right. So you graduated what? C student, B student, A student?
I would say B.
B. All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
So B student, you graduate. Yeah. Did you have plans to go to college?
I wanted to do the whole I'm going to take a year off thing and then go to school.
Yeah.
Didn't work out.
No?
No.
Right.
Life took another turn.
Are you still taking a year off?
Yeah.
That's a long year.
It was a long year, yeah. I did go back eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So you wanted to take a year off. but you're doing
Yes.
decent in school.
Yeah.
Now this use that you are doing at that time.
Yeah.
Non-problematic though.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Yeah.
Not the reason you got the
Luckily.
B.
No.
Okay.
No. Luckily, I had it under control.
Okay.
You know, one of the ones who can recreationally
Right.
use certain things and then be like,
don't brag
I'm
about it. I
done.
don't want to hear
no,
that.
I know. I'm sorry.
Good for you.
Yeah, right.
Yay me. You know. God. So then, you date this guy.
Yeah.
Your parents like him at the time?
Yeah. They loved him because we knew his entire family. We, grew up together pretty much. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's your home at the time?
Good.
They're listening too. So
I know.
can I ask you home questions?
No. Yeah. No. I've never
Mom
really
was
had.
Do you have
any-
daddy issues? Do you have daddy issues?
No. I really don't. Everything.
So you don't like bad
on
boys
the-
because you have daddy issues.
No.
You like bad boys because they're bad boys.
Yeah.
'Cause they're
There's
fun.
just an appeal. Yeah. There was
okay.
an appeal.
All right. There's a difference
Not
though,
anymore.
right? There's a difference.
Yeah.
Trinity knows because I went out with a lot of girls that like bad boys, but it was because they had daddy issues. And
Yeah.
the daddy issues girls that like bad boys are a lot different than girls that just like bad boys. So there's a big difference.
Yeah.
They were both
No.
fun.
Of what you can get away
My
with.
dad was a very hard
Right.
worker growing up. He's, if anything, he set an example.
Oh,
of
right on.
how,
So you
for
like that?
end.
Right on.
Hard workers, yeah.
Yeah.
The
you admired
construction.
that.
I mean,
You
and
admired
I'm not.
that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You
yeah.
admired hard work.
hard work. Yeah.
A
Dirt
guy that
on
takes
their
care of
boots.
his
Yeah.
responsibilities.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to admire.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so you start dating him, then what? Did you already know he was into that other stuff, by the way?
I just thought he was like me. Could recreationally just
Okay.
party, get over it.
Right.
I never really knew too much about that. He kind of kept that on the low.
Most people think that, though. Most people
yeah.
do go into relationships with people that use, but because they use with them and it's in control when they're with them,
Oh, yeah.
they feel like it's always like that even when you're not with them.
Exactly.
That's very normal.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
very normal.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
when you're that young and you get into it, you're so naive.
You
And
feel
you don't
in
know.
control of everything.
And then if you do catch them, once you do catch them and it's deeper, it's the whole, I love you, I
Right.
need you, don't leave me.
Yeah.
And then you think at that age, I can help them.
Right.
They love me. My
Yeah.
love is going to save them.
You also feel like you've been through so much together, even though it's
Yeah, oh my
just 'cause
gosh, yeah.
You went through one little thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
a bond for life.
Yeah. Well, so we dated that summer, and this is gonna sound so crazy. So I threw him a surprise party for his 19th birthday.
Okay.
The next day, completely disappears on me.
Okay.
And then calls me and is like, "I'm moving to Miami," and I'm like, "Oh,
Oh, wow.
I'm like, okay, it's like,
Just like that.
Great, yeah. He's getting back together with his ex, and I'm like, I don't understand what's
geez.
going on. So I went my way. I moved to Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped doing. I really
Jeez, all y'all moved.
Yeah. Well, it was like I'm cutting my hair and leaving.
You went goth?
Yeah. Well, no, no. I never went down. Well, I did have the bangs, and that was younger
Okay.
years. But then we both went our separate ways, and then let's fast forward a year, and he calls me.
Are you still in Georgia at this point?
Yeah.
What part of Georgia is
Kennesaw.
that appealing where you say, I'm going to go to Georgia?
Well, my sister lived there.
What
We're
part?
exactly 10 years apart.
Is that near Atlanta? Because
It's like a 30-minute drive.
north or south?
I think it's like northeast.
Okay, all
of
right.
Atlanta.
All
Yeah.
right.
It was a great little town. It was fun,
Right, right.
But I got into a relationship, and then it was pretty normal. But he had called me and was like, I just got out of rehab, and I'm like, oh. Great. And he's like,
Wow.
yeah, I'm doing really well. You should come back home. And
So he's back in Pennsylvania. He's not in Miami anymore.
No, he went back to Pennsylvania.
All right.
Yep.
About 20
And-
years old.
Yep.
Okay.
19. Yeah.
Still 19,
Yeah,
okay.
still 19 at that time. Yep. And I moved. And I was
Back.
like, yeah, I moved back to Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And then we got together, and that's when it all started.
That's when it got worse.
That's when it got deep.
So where were you at emotionally at that point? At that time?
I mean, I was single, no kids, just living my life. I didn't really think, which was, you know what I mean? You're just kind of living life day
Right.
by day. I just looked
did you have a
at him-
job or did you have a career at that point?
No, just a little job, like waitressing,
Okay.
bartending. Yeah.
Right.
And
So
then I moved
not
back
totally
home.
thrilled.
No.
Okay.
But then I moved back home, and then my parents were like, "We're going to Florida," and I was like, "What the hell? I just
They
I just
left
came
you.
home." No, they didn't leave me. What happened was I went to Florida, but I told them I'm not leaving unless Tim comes with. Oh, sorry, his name. Unless he comes with
So
me.
much for anonymity.
Yeah. Unless he
There's a
comes
lot of
with
Tim- don't
me.
worry, there's a lot of guys named Tim.
Tims, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless he comes with me, I'm not going.
Right,
And they were like, "All right, well, let's bring him." And I was like, "Okay." And at that point, he was working at at Camelback. It's a resort.
Right.
And he was like, "Of course I'll come. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
Free ride.
Oh,
Let's go."
He was just at Florida. He was like,
yeah, he didn't care.
Rewind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went down there.
What part of Florida?
Kissimmee, St.
Kissimmee,
Cloud.
right.
Yeah, where we are now.
Right.
Yeah. And that's when I noticed he was sick when we got there. And I was like, why are you so sick? Like, because to me, he's telling me he's not using or anything.
Yeah, he just went to rehab.
Yeah, even though I'm also drinking with him at the time, right? Okay,
right.
so again, I'm still at that point where I'm naive and don't know all of that stuff.
So you didn't understand rehab meant he shouldn't drink.
I did not understand anything about recovery or anything like that, really. And then he was withdrawing, when he was down there with us. So...
From opiates, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Well, everything. I mean, he's kind of like a garbage disposal. He'll do whatever. He doesn't care. So we came to Florida, and then my sister was like, come stay with us for a few months, because we didn't really have anything going on. We were just kind of on like a vacation. Right. So we went to Georgia, and he disappeared on me for like a good 24 hours. I didn't know where he went. I didn't know what he was doing. I packed all of his shit in the bags. I was like, get the hell out of here. But I mean, it didn't work. All he has to do is bat his little puppy dog eyes and tell me he loves me. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I'll help you. I'll stay, you know. And then we went back home, lived with his parents, and then...
All right, so let's pause there for a second. Yeah. So you have this experience where now you kind of know something's amiss.
It's bad.
Right? Yeah. But when you accept him back, where are you at that point as far as a woman?
I feel like it was... with him like a territorial thing at that point, because there was also stuff going on with girls. I mean, when we were down there, there was a friend I had, and she pulled me over to the side and was like, listen, Tim was saying this and that to me, he wants to this and that, and I didn't believe her. I got mad at her because I'm young,
So where's your confidence at that, besides being young?
I know, right?
Where's your confidence at that point? Like, looking back now, where were you in your self-confidence?
I did not have any self-worth. I don't think I even knew anything about it. No one really talked to me about, you're worth so much more. Right. Not that nobody believed that, but I never had that talk with anybody yet in my life.
But it doesn't sound like anything happened that would diminish your self-worth. So So looking back on it now, as a mature woman now, what do you think was happening to you then that made you vulnerable to this situation? Is there something that you can pinpoint? Because there's some people right now that are in this situation in those early stages, and that's kind of what I'm looking for, is maybe a sign that they can see or identify with.
I just truly wanted to believe that everything he said to me, as far as like wanting a life with me, was real and true. And that's what I held on to. No, I'm the one. And then I started using his drugs as his drug use as an excuse for everything. So I'm like, if I could just get him clean, then he won't cheat and he won't,
Right. So where's family as a support system at that point?
His family?
Your family?
Oh, my family.
Yeah.
Oh,
what are they saying to you at this point?
I tried to hide things from them. They didn't really know.
They didn't know he
how
disappeared.
Bad it was.
They didn't know that.
No, they didn't know. My sister knew, who we were staying with. She knew, and I was just like, and everyone was like, and she was just like, get rid of him. Like, what are you doing? This is not okay. He needs to go and get help, which was true. He needed to go. I should have let him go and follow down that path.
Right.
But I didn't want to, because I was like, if I let him go, he's gonna die.
Right.
If I'm not there, he's gonna OD, and I'm never gonna, and I didn't want that on me.
Yeah.
Because also at that age,
so
I
you
was
were in
thinking
a lot of fear.
it was it's fear. Like, I didn't want to cause that. Then I have his family that I'm worried about.
Right.
Are they gonna blame me for this and that? So it's so hard. It was such a long time ago. I'm so far from there.
Right.
But
yeah, but
I just loved him. Honestly, I was addicted to him. I was talking
already
about
at that point.
Yeah, I was all like, it was just an addiction for me to keep him in my life. Like, I just wanted him. I saw this future that I wanted. Why? I don't even know now. Like, I look back, I'm like, why would you want that? Because I don't look at him and see a drug addict. I look at the person who he wants to be, or at least what he's telling me he wants to be. Right. I see the guy that we laugh and we have good times with. I'm not seeing the guy who's shooting up in the bathroom or snorting whatever in the club. I never looked at him like that ever. I just looked at this beautiful man who I wanted to have a life with and help him with. But
so then where do you guys go from Georgia?
We went to live with his parents.
Which is where?
In Pennsylvania.
So we went back to
Pennsylvania. Yeah, we've traveled a lot in our relationship. So we lived with them. And then it started, though, because we're back in hometown. He's back with his people who he gets his drugs from, but he'll find it anywhere.
You mean it continued?
Oh, yeah, it continued.
Not started.
Oh, well, yeah, it continued.
Okay.
But it just started back to our hometown, where, he was calling
where it all began in the first place.
Yeah, where it all began in the first place. And then let's see, where are we
So did
now?
you know that though? Did you know it continued at that point?
You know, I don't know if I wanted to believe him when he was saying, I'm done.
Right.
You know, I'm going to get my shit together.
Right.
I'm going to get clean. And I believe him, but then,
Were there any promises like I'm going to go to
things.
treatment, I'm going to go to counseling, I'm going to go to meetings? Were there any
I'm going to
kind of
go
those?
to meetings. Yeah, the meetings and
Right.
the counseling. But he never had insurance or anything, so it was hard for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's not a lot, unfortunately, or wasn't back then, a lot of funding for people who don't have the insurance to get help.
Sounds like something he would tell us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at that
There
point.
are meetings, and meetings are free.
Oh, no, meetings are free, yes.
Yeah.
The meetings he always said he would go to, and he went.
Right.
But that's enough. Eventually, he
All
would
right.
go, but then he would leave.
Right,
And
I
I
got
didn't
you.
know that.
So how long does that go on?
Oh, my gosh. So we were staying with his parents, and then I was finding spoons, and
Mm.
I was finding needles. He was in the bathroom, like, oh, my stomach hurts. I don't feel well all the time. And
Right.
then there he went. And I'm like, Jackie, you know, he's in the bathroom for a long time. Like, what's going on? And we knew, you know, and his parents knew. But as parents, they don't want to throw him out. You know what I mean? They want to help
They're
him.
afraid too.
They're afraid. Exactly.
They think he'll die.
I mean, and he's been, at that
Yeah,
point, he'd
where
been
would he
doing
go?
it since he was the hardcore stuff,
Yeah.
since he was like 15.
Yeah.
He started smoking and drinking, I think, when he was in like 7th grade. That's young.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a young age.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the hard stuff when he was like 15. So at
Mm-hmm.
that point, they're kind of, I don't want to say used to it, but they've been dealing with it for so long, stealing money and everything. But we tried to get him help, and then he.
What does that mean right there?
Tried to get him
We
help.
try to get him help. What does that mean?
Well, we tried to help him follow a program, but again, you know, he has to do it. He has to follow
Okay,
a program.
but
But
what-
at that point, I was still, again, don't know anything because I hadn't started yet going to NAR meetings. I didn't start that till I got a little bit older, after I had our first child.
What program did you guys try to get him help with?
I mean, just to even
a
start going to
state
meetings.
facility?
And
Oh, okay.
no, this was just like meetings because he didn't want
Okay.
to go
Okay.
away because he had already gone away. He'd gone to a rehab before.
So he somehow convinced his family, I don't need to go rehab, I just need to go to meetings. or
Exactly.
something
Like
that.
I'm just
Okay.
gonna let me just try going to meetings, get a sponsor, you know, and then he was working.
Right.
You know, he always had a job.
Yeah. What kind of work did he do?
He worked with his dad at he still does it now at a basketball camp.
Okay, so
up there.
not really a job where you have to actually go earn or get like that. You just have to do whatever dad.
No, I mean
appreciates.
he does a lot. They do a lot of hard work there. But I mean, it's
Yeah,
like
but he still got it through his dad,
But
right?
he got it. Yes, he did get it through his
Right,
dad. Yeah,
right.
at that point,
Which
yeah,
is a
He
little
always had
different. That's a little
crutch.
control.
I mean, you always, yeah,
The
he
family's
always-
controlling it a little bit then.
Yeah,
So as long as he's working with me, living with me, I got my eyeball on him,
yeah.
he'll be all right.
But his dad got fed up with it after a while, you
Yeah.
know. But then I got to remember because, again, it was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So he started going to meetings, and I believe he started taking Suboxone. So this is where that started. So in my eyes, I'm like, okay, he's taking Suboxone. He's okay.
Right.
Again, not knowledgeable yet of what I know now about
Okay.
addiction and,
Okay.
you know, the resources and everything. So he's taking it. Things are good. Our relationship's a lot better. We decided to get an apartment. So we get one.
So you guys are doing better.
Yeah, we were doing
Financially,
better.
at least.
Yeah, so
Right.
I was working. I had a full-time job. This was November, right before Thanksgiving. We got our first apartment. We got a dog. You know, he surprised me with a puppy.
That's
and it
another
was like,
connectivity
you know,
thing, something
yeah,
to help you
so-
guys bond.
Exactly, and it
You know,
was
we're
amazing.
a family now.
Yeah, and then a month
yeah.
later, I find out I'm pregnant. And
How old are you at this point?
I was 20 when I found
Okay.
out I was pregnant. And I remember, it's kind of a funny story. I had the stomach flu, and then he got the flu. And he's still like, he's on the couch. And I'm like, I got to tell you something. I'm like coming home from work. I'm crying. And he's like, what's wrong? As he's like still like throwing up in the. And I was like, I'm pregnant. And he was like, oh. And this is word for word what he says. And I hate to even admit this live. But he was like, huh, bummer. That's literally the word. Like, that's literally the words that came out of his mouth. Now, granted,
There's a winner.
it made me giggle, though. Like, it was kind of like
He's not the only
something
guy
that-
that's probably ever said
Yeah.
that.
So
He just
I was
said
like,
it out loud.
Yeah. But then he started laughing. He's like, that's all right. He's like, you know, what do you want to do? Obviously, he's going to ask
Well,
me
that's
that.
a good set. That's a good.
Yeah,
statement.
and I was like, well, I'm keeping it. And he was like, okay. I mean, there was no argument about
Yeah,
it.
there you go.
And really, that was it. But that's when I noticed things kind of started spiraling.
I like the way you keep
Out of
on saying
control.
that's when it started. That's when it
Oh,
started.
well,
That's when
I-
it started. That's when it.
well-
You notice that? There's like a theme here. It's
Well-
always just starting.
No, so
It sounds like it's just continuing.
yeah.
When did
so
it stop?
It never did. which is
Exactly.
why
That's
I
my
left.
point.
Yeah. But from him taking the Suboxone, what started was him taking it now to get high and not so much taking it to stay
Okay,
clean.
so let's pause there for a second. So he starts taking Suboxone. I'm guessing he somehow made an appointment with a physician with the intent to stay clean.
Yeah, this
right?
was
Because he got on Suboxone.
Yeah.
So what was he doing treatment-wise when he started?
But he started
using
selling
Suboxone?
them. He started
Right
selling
from the
them.
beginning?
No, I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. Not in the
Okay.
beginning, no. Because
So
I noticed. You notice when people
Right.
are doing well.
Sure, sure.
And then I notice when he starts spiraling.
Right,
Because he's
right.
gone longer.
So from
He
the
doesn't
beginning,
feel well.
though, when he first started getting on Suboxone,
Yeah.
I mean, did you notice any improvement whatsoever in those
Yeah, I
early
mean,
days
he
of
was.
Suboxone?
He was home all the time.
Okay.
Not all the time. Like working, come home, like a normal
So
schedule. We weren't fighting.
which means at some point
Yeah.
his intent was working.
Yes.
It appears.
It
Sounds.
appeared, and like it was working.
Right, and then so was there any treatment, counseling, or
No, he was
meetings
trying to
going
do
on
it on
then?
his own.
Okay,
No.
so the physician he went to go get Suboxone from didn't, in your opinion,
Yeah.
didn't enforce, being in a treatment program, outpatient program while on Suboxone.
No, and this is another reason why I'm doing what I'm doing today.
Right, which is also another reason we encourage that
Yes.
if you're going to use a medication, any kind of medication-assisted treatment, counseling is supposed to be part of the deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I saw him go to so many places that didn't actually care, and they were just kind of like, "Oh, here you go.
Right.
You're just another client, patient
Right.
coming in that I'm
Right,
gonna
right.
make a script to," and not actually.
Or they'd recommend it, but just they don't
Yeah.
do anything with it. I
Yeah.
mean, they're not enforcing it.
Yeah.
you
Yep.
know. I know a lot of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then after like a month that we know I'm pregnant,
Yeah.
he's disappearing again.
Okay.
And
So
I
you know,
noticed,
the sign. You know,
and
what's going on.
I'm like the usual, and I know so many people are
Right.
going to relate to this. You're
Right.
going through their phones, you're going
Right.
through their clothes again,
Oh,
you're
you got-
going through spaces in the walls.
Now you
and the
start going
ceiling.
crazy.
Yeah,
You start feeling crazy.
It's ridiculous. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a struggle. And then we lost the apartment because we moved out of the apartment because.
What were you looking to find in the phone? And
Oh, messages, and I found it.
Yeah?
I mean, you find messages. Hey, meet me here.
Right.
I have this. I have that. I mean, I don't know the lingo back then,
right, right.
but
But
I knew
what
it
were you
wasn't
looking
good.
for, really? What do you think you were searching for?
Confirmation that he was used. Because I would confront him, and it was always
Denial.
no.
Yeah, of
I'm
course.
fine. I'm not doing anything.
Of course.
So you always want that confirmation, but it's funny because even when we get it, we don't really do any. Not that we don't do
Well-
anything. We confront them, but do we leave?
Well,
no,
that's what I'm
I
asking.
stayed.
Well, that's yeah. So
exactly.
because there's a lot of families, people in your situation that find things.
Yeah.
You confront them, you tell them about it, but then what are you doing with that information? So one thing is
Exactly.
having the information. The other thing is what are you going to do with it?
Exactly.
So what did you do with it?
I flipped out on him. I mean, we started fighting again. Here we go.
Yeah.
The fighting started again.
Which
and
to a
now
using
I'm
addict, all that
pregnant.
does is validate. Let me go out and get high because
Yeah, and now I'm pregnant.
this is why I
so-
get high. You're so insane.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he would start walking away
Right.
and walking. And I remember specifically one night he was walking out of the apartment and I'm going after him stupidly. Because honestly, you shouldn't do that. Let them go because you're going to get yourself in an altercation.
It's
you
dangerous.
could. You
It's
could.
very dangerous.
I mean, he's never put his
Especially if
hands
you're
on me. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
he's never put his hands on me, but you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, but he's not
especially if they're
himself at
high.
the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But when you're in the moment and you're young and you're naive,
Of course.
I went right after him. I'm grabbing him, like trying to get him to stay.
Mm-hmm.
And, he left, and then I didn't hear from him for hours. And then he comes home, and he's crying, and he's sad because he doesn't want to be this person. He
Right.
wants to be clean. And
Which is all true,
a
by
good
the
dad.
way.
Yeah.
Which is all true.
Yeah.
It's just when you're in that
addiction,
moment, you only have moments of true.
And
That's the problem.
yeah.
It's like you
Yeah.
hit your number at the roulette wheel.
Yeah.
but then you spin again.
And that's also what keeps us.
Yeah.
Because they get in
Yeah, it
our
works.
heads, and I believed him.
Well, both things are true.
Yeah, both
Yeah.
things are true. He's out of control and he's wanted to.
Yeah.
So at this point, what does family know? Your family. And remember, there's a lot of families that watch this. There's parents like my
Yeah.
parents, or I'm a parent now.
Yeah.
So like, what are they seeing? What are they listening to?
I mean, I didn't tell my parents. I mean, I didn't want to tell
they don't
them. No. But also, he did convince me. And now, I don't know if, thinking back of it, if I actually believed it or I just wanted to believe it, that he was going to get his life get his shit together.
Right.
And so I just trusted him to keep on the right track.
They know you're pregnant, though.
Yeah, so they found out that they were not happy about that.
Okay, so they weren't happy. What made them unhappy about that?
Well, because they knew we had problems. They didn't know how bad they were,
Okay.
but they knew that it wasn't.
So their
great.
spidey senses were
But they
tingling.
so from their end of it, they were like, let's move in with us and we'll help you.
That's kind of what I was thinking that they would say.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Did they know that the problems were drug related, or they just think they were just normal relationship problems?
No, they knew he was using. I mean, they knew he was using, but not at the capacity that he was using.
Did they think you were using at this point?
I did have my brother actually. They were like, he was like, "You're so skinny." I'm like, I've been like this my whole life. Like, this ain't new, and it actually hurt. But it comes with the territory sometimes. I mean, if you're hanging out with people who do drugs, you're gonna.
Well, they're looking for an answer. Like, why would you stay?
Why would you stay?
You know what I mean?
And
they don't understand the
I look like
psychology of
a
it.
wreck most of the time, but not because I'm using, because I'm losing sleep. I'm crying.
Yep.
Exactly. I'm stressed because not only now I mean, they never asked me when I was pregnant if I was using, but prior to and then afterwards. But again, it's because why are you with him? If you're not actively using with him, why are you staying?
In retrospect, so now let's take us not to second guess them or second guess any parents that don't do anything above and beyond what they did, but looking at it right now, do you think there's anything they could have done or said that could have helped like corral you back into their mix better?
I am so stubborn. No. There's no way. They've tried everything.
Okay.
They try. I am just, well, I still am. But back then, I was very like, I'm in love. I'm helping him. There's nothing you're gonna say to me that's gonna take me away from him.
So you still felt safe by them. You still felt they were safe and trustworthy.
Oh, my family. Yeah.
All right. So you didn't lose that. You didn't not have that.
No. My family we're very, very Italian, and we are there for each other.
Well,
that's how my family. For me, I mean, and at that point now, I'm pregnant, so they're looking at him now. Okay, well, this is the father of.
It is what it is.
Of her child. So we're gonna support and see what we can do.
Did your father speak to him directly?
I don't know.
Being an Italian guy, so I'm thinking
once we
we're gonna have a conversation.
Eventually, yes, that did happen.
Let me tell my wait a minute. I got to pause for a second because let me tell any guy that's dating my daughters, and one of them is living with my daughter. I can assure you, John, we will have a conversation, and that's not a threat. It's just a conversation. And so what I encourage, and not that any man out there should put himself in harm's way or in danger. However, should you find yourself in this situation, sometimes another man approaching another man can be very powerful as far as being there for you emotionally, and maybe I need to step in and help you at this point, because maybe you're not listening to your dad because you've heard your dad, but another person's dad, especially the father of the woman that you're with and the grandfather of your future child may just have just a little bit more value or a little bit more oomph to the conversation is why I'm saying that.
Well, my dad definitely had a conversation. He wanted to help him in every way for work. He was like, do you need work?
Yeah, see, again, they're still viewing it as like a kind of value system that they understand. They're looking for a value system they understand. If you feel value in your position, if you're making money, you don't make these decisions.
Mom and my family, they were never...
Right.
Never. We didn't have anybody like that in our family.
Yeah, they don't
with
understand
like
the disease.
Like that disease. Yeah, no, not at all. So my dad looked at it like, listen, I'm gonna help you get a job. I'm gonna get you in the union, which was great. Like, I'm excited. I'm like, that's gonna be a great job.
Very old-fashioned father, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, my dad did construction his entire life. Exactly. That's the way he saw things. And
he's just thinking his values off. That's it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, of course he had a conversation with him. I mean, that's just my dad. A lot of dads out there.
Yeah.
But then I'm trying now. Let me think. So the summer,
But you said no, thank you. Clearly, you said no, thank you. We're not moving in with you.
Oh no, we moved in with them because we had an incident happen at our apartment. A man came knocking on our door at like 7:00 in the morning
with
a gun. Well, with a gun, literally, and I'm like, what is going on? He goes downstairs, and it's a neighbor accusing him of stealing from him. Now I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Right.
And I'm just like, what is this? What happened? He's like, I don't know. He's crazy. Blah, blah, blah. And none of this ever went to court or anything. I'm not going to say whether or not he did it.
Right.
But it was just not. The guy was sitting there with a gun in his face saying, I'm going to burn down your apartment with your pregnant girlfriend and your dog.
Jeez.
Like, that's
not the guy you probably want to steal from.
No.
Clearly not a Mark.
No, he had a lot of money, and he literally lived right down the street. We lived in a nice neighborhood.
He didn't even beat him up.
No. Well, we called the cops, and the cops.
Oh.
And actually, though, this is funny. The camp that he works at is across the street. We lived in, again, Pennsylvania, back roads, farmlands everywhere.
Right.
So all he had to do, walk across the street, there's a camp. So his dad sees the neighbor, because they all knew him very well, the guy that he stole from.
Okay.
Dumb. So he sees his car and he sees the gun, and his dad comes over and he's like, listen, man. And he's like, you want to do this? He goes, this is my son. Like, you either put your gun down,
he had a gun
or
too?
we're gonna have a problem. Yeah, he has a car.
So they're both.
Yeah.
So now you got.
Well, he didn't pull it out though. He had it on his hip. It was concealed, you know.
okay,
But he's saying, like, listen, like, we could do this if you want.
Yeah.
He's like, but this is my son, and
It's
the guy.
a measuring contest at this point.
Somewhere the NRA just smiling.
Yeah. So the cops come. The guy.
And the Democrats are weeping.
The only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
Yeah.
It actually worked though.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, the cops came. They took the guy, and they were like, "Dude, you can't pull your gun on a kid. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, what are you doing?" So he gets taken away.
Right.
Meanwhile, his shit got stolen, and he's the one getting taken away because he pulled the gun. He went about it obviously the completely wrong way.
Emotional response.
Exactly. So. And Tim's just like, give me he's trying to defend himself.
So you guys moved.
That's a whole other situation. Yeah. So we moved in with my parents after that because I was like, I don't feel safe. I'm not staying here.
Hell no.
I'm not staying here. I'm not risking.
Did you move that day?
Yeah. Within like a week,
Okay.
we moved out.
Sounds like a good
and
decision.
I was I mean, it was bittersweet, obviously, because we were in our apartment. I thought this was going good. We were going to put the baby and everything. But anyway,
So let's
leave.
pause there for a sec. So at that point in time, were there any promises made, like, did he admit, first of all, that he stole from the person, and did he promise that things were going to change at that point? Do you remember any of that?
He didn't. No, he never admitted it.
Okay.
And we all believe that he didn't do it.
Okay.
My mom even this is what hurt my mom at the end the most, because she was an advocate for him for a while. She was like, my parents really did love him at that point.
Right.
And they wanted the best for him and for me and the baby. And no one believed it. We really didn't.
So no promises made. No.
Looking back now, though, it's different. But no. But and then of course he's promising me no, I didn't do it.
Okay.
I don't. This is just a fluke. It's a weird thing that's happening.
So you're
right
back
now.
in Florida.
No. We moved to our house in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
My parents were in Florida on vacation. We had a vacation home down here.
So let's do this then. Let's fast forward through how many children?
3.
So let's fast forward that, because they're probably all similar. The
story?
stories. Oh, I mean, they're pretty. I'm sure they're great. I'm sure they're fantastic.
Very
Cool.
entertaining.
Is that word? But that's not the purpose of this. So let's fast forward through all 3 children now.
Mm-hmm.
You have all 3 children.
Mm-hmm.
You're still not married, right?
No, yeah.
Now,
That was a promise made to me, but never happened.
Explain that, because there's a lot of people in that situation as well.
So I'll quickly just do a little overview. So Sophia turns 1.
Mm-hmm.
Tim, he gets kicked out of my house eventually because my parents are like, you're not having hard drugs in my house. We find the spoons, the needles. That's a no.
Right.
So he got kicked out. He's living on the street because his parents at that point didn't want him at the house either.
Right.
Like, they were done. So he's living outside. He promises he's going to go to rehab. We get him into a rehab. He goes away. My gosh. Basically started living a double life in Harrisburg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Has a child with somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't know this.
I didn't. No. I found out about her. And then when I told her about me, we pretty much were on each other's teams. We were like, listen, like, we're not gonna fight each other because this is him. No, it's not.
That's
she didn't know
very
about
mature
me.
of both of you.
Wow.
We're actually best friends to this day.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Wow.
that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, we're great. She's so anyway, he convinces me though that she's not pregnant. Okay, and then it did get to a point where I was like, I don't believe her. Because eventually it's going to happen. I mean, I was very territorial with him. I was like, he's mine.
Yeah.
He's the father of my child.
Yeah.
Yada, yada.
You didn't know that she urinated on him, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But so he's stealing in Harrisburg, all that stuff. He gets caught. He winds up going to jail for a few months. Gets out. I get pregnant again. Then he gets in trouble again. And he goes away now for a year and a half.
Trouble again.
Well, he's stealing. And everything he's gotten caught for was stealing.
It's all
it was
drug
never
related.
drug related,
It's all drug
but
related.
never got caught with drugs.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
always,
Oh, I feel
he's
that.
stealing. You know what I mean? Never got caught with
never
the
got
drugs.
caught with drugs.
But the reason why he was
Right.
stealing was because of the
Right,
drugs. And they
right.
knew it, which is why they gave him a special program to follow.
Right.
So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to give him this chance to go away and work this program that they're giving to him.
Right.
And I thought it was going to get better.
Of course, you had hope, you had faith.
Of course, yeah. And we're writing each other. He's calling me all the time. We're going to get married
and
when
they
I
say
get out.
great things while they're incarcerated.
Oh, my gosh. Ugh, the best letters. The
Yes,
best. I don't have them anymore. I ripped them up and threw them away.
By the way, let me just pause there for a second. Regardless of where the story goes from here, there's a lot of you in this situation. And the words they are saying are true. The feelings that they're having are true. But when you're sick, it's complicated. And when I say complicated, I mean it's hard to know what's truth, what's manipulation, what's fact, what's fiction. I have to believe that with all the people that I've helped and with me experiencing myself, that when you are in that place emotionally, when you're in that place of incarceration or you're in that place of isolation or whatever, that the piece of you that's putting those words on paper, the piece of you that's talking on that telephone and promising and saying all these things, that person does exist, but that person has very little power in the outside world. That person has a lot of power there because you're isolated. But, you hear people in the room say, your addiction is doing push-ups, though. Your addiction is doing push-ups and getting real strong. So from when that day comes that addiction has to exert its force again, it's going to come out. So anyway, I just want to say that because some people say, they're just lying. I don't believe they're always just lying. I'm not saying that they're always telling the truth. I'm just saying that for the most part, most people really believe that when they get out, they're going to do better and they're going to follow this plan. Yeah. But sometimes that plan doesn't. I mean, my plan lasted one day, and not even a day.
Yeah. Well, when he got out, I met. He was in a halfway house, and oh gosh, it's like every time he got out, we saw each other after that year and a half. I got pregnant again. So this was the third child. I spent all the money I'd saved. I got an apartment. But then I find out he's cheating on me again, and he's still selling drugs. And I'm like, you're still on probation, and you're doing all this stuff.
Right. But you didn't turn him in.
No, I didn't turn him in. No.
How come?
Oh, no.
I mean, look at the face. See, the face says it all. Like, what? That's insane. Why didn't you turn him in? More problem for you, huh?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I know I
was
told
it even
his
an option?
Family.
Was it even an option?
I don't know why I didn't say.
Because it probably wasn't even an option in your head.
Yeah, no. No. Yeah. Well, because I honestly can't answer that. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not saying
I should have. I feel but
I don't know.
I didn't want to be that. Even though I was
you're not.
I didn't want to be that person. I don't know.
Well,
to criminally be like, oh well, I'm gonna.
You're not.
Yeah.
You're not. So. And that's that. We live in a world of where we say narcs and snitches and all these things, but in reality, what it is the legal system has saved a lot of lives.
Yeah. No, I believe it.
Put it this way: is as bad as the legal system may be. I'm going to venture, Trinity, and I know that we don't have fact on this, but I'm going to venture to say I know more people that have gotten their life saved by being a part of the legal system than have died because of the legal system.
Yeah,
that's my point.
Yeah,
not that I want anyone to get incarcerated or to be on probation or anything like that.
Yeah,
but of all the people that I know that have died, I can't say they died because of the legal system. I would have to say they died because they didn't get
the results of the legal system. I mean, it's kind of 50-50. I feel like. It's either gonna help you or it's not gonna help you. It didn't help him because I became friends with somebody in recovery that he was friends with, and he was telling me that Tim was using it in jail. So I mean,
a lot, and there are drugs in jail as well.
And it's funny because I did notice at a point when he was away, I was like, he's really going through his money really fast. Like I'm sending him more money.
The commissary.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean that's how they do things in there.
Of course.
But anyway, so
fast forward some more.
Fast forward, yeah. So he was on the phone with me, and I'm trying to say to him, "You can't, what are you doing? I know you're cheating. I know this. I know that." The girl was practically blasting him all over Facebook while we're living together.
Yeah.
So that's a whole nother thing. And then he physically threatened me over the phone. Like he was like, "I'm coming. This is what he says. What makes you think I won't wrap my hands around your neck?" And I was like, "Okay, bye." I don't even know what it was because it honestly. It took a lot for me to leave. Clearly, it was like 8 years later. Into this relationship and this journey with him of trying to help him. I don't know what it was. God was like, "Oh, you're done. Pack your stuff. I've protected you enough through these 8 years. I need you to get out. Like I need you to listen to me now."
You just gave me chills. Wait a minute. Are you telling me when he said that was it? That was the point?
That was it. I was like,
so up to that point.
Well, because I'm pregnant. I'm like, he's
no, I hear you.
Yeah, like he's.
But up to that point. There was never a conversation like that? You had never
him threatening me?
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is you had never felt like you were in danger up until that point.
No, I did not. I really didn't. I didn't feel... And
as much of a danger you were in the entire time, you did not know it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I didn't. I really felt like he was protecting me,
I hear
even
you.
though he was doing things that were dangerous.
Right.
My mom would always say, "What are you doing? You're gonna get hurt. Like you can have a drug dealer come to your house and shoot you."
Yes.
Like, no, he'll never let that happen.
Right.
That's what I would always say.
Until it came out of his mouth.
Until that happened. Well, and also, Robin is the girl that he has a child with, who I'm best friends with.
Right.
At this point, me and her don't have a relationship yet.
Yeah.
We had spoken when things were going on, but we don't have a relationship yet. And I'm thinking back to, he went to court for her because he allegedly had physically harmed her very badly. I didn't believe it at that time because I was with him for so long. I'm like, if he hasn't put his hands on me, there's no way he's going to do the things that she said. There's no way. That's not him. Like, I didn't believe it.
Let me ask you something on that, though.
Yeah.
Because were you physically aggressive to him?
No, never.
Did you challenge him to that boiling point ever?
No, but she did.
That's
Yeah.
And there's the difference.
Yep.
And so that is what allows a guy in his head, in his mind space, to feel like, you asked for this. You made me hit you.
Yeah.
Because not all women would be that
aggressive.
confrontational and aggressive. So because at that point where you're not yet a physically aggressive person.
Yeah. I'm not.
And so that person doesn't believe they're the problem.
Yeah, I come at it with love.
Yeah.
Not that she didn't love him, but she's more aggressive.
Right.
So, and they had a completely different relationship.
Yeah.
She found him in the bathroom, kneeling in his arm. I never saw that part.
Yeah,
of
but
him.
once he
was always
tasted
hiding
blood
it from me.
But see, just like an animal, once he tasted blood, or once he realized this shuts them up.
Mm.
Wow, this works. Because initially, just like a drug, it works.
Yeah.
So his level of physical aggression probably worked for what he wanted from her at the time. So now he says it to you.
Yeah. And it didn't work.
Testing the waters and it didn't work?
No, that was the straw that broke the camel's back there. I literally packed my stuff. I called my brother.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need your help, please. And he was working in New York, construction worker, of course. They all are, everyone in my family. And he was like, I'll be there in an hour. And I called, and you know what actually makes me mad? I called the cops, and I was like, I'm scared that my boyfriend's going to come here and physically harm me. I have 2 children. I'm pregnant. I need you. And they were like, oh, no. We can come there for like 10 minutes for you to grab a bag, but that's it. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like, you can't sit here for an hour and help me? Like, no, they wouldn't do it. But whatever, I did it anyway. I packed my 1996 Pontiac Bonneville and I threw all my stuff in it, whatever I could, everything, and I left. I got my kids out of there. I believe my mom flew up from Florida because I told them over the phone, and that was hard for me too, because me telling them, this meant that this was it. There's no going back.
This is real.
There's no going back. And that's the hardest part, is realizing if I make this step right now, I know I'm not getting back together with him. My family will not accept him because they were finally giving him that chance to make it good and right. And they were so excited. And God, it just...
Yeah, once you activate the troops.
I activated the troops. My dad was like, "This is bull,"
Yeah, they want to kill him.
They did. They were not happy at all.
Did you tell
and
your
at
brother,
that point, they didn't know I was pregnant with my 3rd child.
Did you tell your brother and your father and your mother and your sister the exact words he used?
Yes, I did.
Ooh.
Good for you.
That was
necessary.
But this is God.
That was necessary for you.
It was, and
because you completely outed him.
Yeah.
The secrets are really what keep us sick and will get us killed.
Yeah. And I told them everything. And I was like, I'm done. Get me out. I need your help. And my best friend, Becky, who, God bless her, lived all the way in North Carolina, drove her truck up to help me get the rest of my stuff. She was like, I'm coming. I'm going to be there.
Jesus.
It makes me want to cry. Like, I love my friends and everyone in my family.
The whole time.
The whole time.
They were there the whole time.
And she was like my savior. She came. I'm going to cry. She helped me, and she got me out of there. And it was amazing. Tim obviously wasn't happy. He didn't show up, but I told him that the cops were there, and because he kept calling me and was like, I'm outside. I'm like, well, you better stay your ass out there because you're gonna get arrested, or my brother's gonna come after you. Like, I don't think you want any of that. It's just gonna happen. Like, you don't threaten me.
Right.
That was like he had never done it before, so he doesn't know how I'm gonna react. Just like you were saying, because with her, she was like, "Oh, I'll just fight you back."
Yeah.
Me, I'm like, no, you're done. I'm telling my family. I'm a tiny little. I can't. What is he gonna do? You know, I can't do anything.
Did you leave?
And I don't want to.
Good?
Oh, I left. I was gone. That was the last time.
That's the last time.
That was the last time.
Good for you.
God.
That was the last time. I mean, it sucks. It had to get to that point, but you know what? It could have been worse. I could have gotten myself in a way worse situation, but I left. And it didn't. However, though, I did kind of hold on to him emotionally for like another year.
Well, that's a different.
You know what I mean? That's a whole other
game.
thing. But I didn't go back to him. I was not moving my family again, my kids.
Right.
I'd already. Oh God, we'd been through like 4 different apartments.
Yeah.
I've had to move in and out of because of him.
And you were pregnant still.
Yeah.
With
and
your
I was pregnant.
third child.
Yeah.
How old is the oldest child at this point?
She was 4. I think 4.
So here you are with
Or
a
4 or
4-year-old, a 2-year-old,
Yes.
and pregnant.
No, she wasn't even 2 yet because when I had Juliet, they
so
actually had the
4-1.
same exact birthday.
Okay.
So they're
Wow.
exactly 2 years apart. Yeah.
So let's pause here for another quick second. We got about 5 minutes left.
Okay.
Incredible story.
Yeah.
You know, I hope you guys are
How do you not have
appreciating
PTSD?
this.
No, I do.
How do you know she doesn't?
No, I do. I do.
I think it's important at this time for the closing part
Yeah.
to kind of,
I kind of want to wrap.
wrap it all up
Yeah.
and kind of and help us know
because
what we
I
need to get out of
couldn't
it.
help him.
Yeah.
And I saw the system fail him, and I know that addicts need to do it themselves, but I've seen the system fail him as well.
Yeah.
We need to have good support systems for them because they can't do it on their own in the beginning. They need that. There's a lot of mental, it's this mental illness that they need that support.
Where do you think they failed?
Not listening to them, not providing them with tools that they can do, that they can go to, people to reach out to.
How do you know those tools weren't available to him? How do you know he wasn't offered those tools?
Well, that's true. They could have been, but
I mean,
he just
you were
didn't
there
want.
for
He
him.
just didn't want to
Your
work
family
it.
was there for you, and you didn't activate them.
Yeah, no, that's true. But when I saw the revolving door of him and them not, I guess I
Remember, they didn't get him for a drug charge.
I blame them. Yeah.
They got him for a criminal charge.
Yeah.
So they have to treat the criminal
Well, not
for the
that
criminal
system,
charge.
but when he would go to rehabs.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Like I knew,
You
like
don't think
he
that
would.
they recommended outpatient?
I mean,
Or
they
follow-up or
probably
meetings or
recommended
sponsorship?
it, but I knew like there was other things like him fooling around with women that were in these drug
I
rehabs.
gotcha.
Him having inappropriate relation. So when I see that they're not taking it serious for him,
Yeah.
it was like I said, this is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be a drug and alcohol counselor.
Yeah.
I got my foot in the door with my company, and I thank God every day. Like it was a tiny position, but I got in there at the Blackberry Center,
Right.
and I worked my way up. I did admissions. Now I'm doing the outreach, and
Tell us a little bit about that, the admissions and stuff. Like, so here now you get into the business.
yeah, I was just
And-
a
and
receptionist.
you-
That's how I started.
And you
then-
hear somebody telling your story, really.
yeah,
you're
I mean,
talking to somebody who
that's
shares
how I
your
kind
story.
of, I kind of got in there and just told them how I related, and
Mhm.
I mean, that's how I relate to our clients. I mean, even
Yeah.
though I'm not the addict, they love talking to me
Sure.
because they have their family members and they want to ask me questions
Right.
about how I dealt with it and everything. And my boss, Jessica and Rick, they're amazing, and they just saw how much I hustled and how much I loved and cared for our clients and our facility, and they were like, let us help you move up. So I did admissions and I helped with that, which I loved, doing intake and talking to the clients as they were coming in.
Right.
And then she asked me if I wanted to do outreach and marketing for them, and that's where
And
I
that's
am.
where you
And it's amazing for me because I went from being a girl who was stuck going to food banks and asking churches for money to pay my rent to now, I feel like I have a purpose now, a higher purpose for helping people. And even though I can't help him, I still reach out to him. We don't have the best relationship, but I always let him know that if he needs help, I have so many resources down here and to contact me.
But at this point, you're not emotionally attached
But
to
no,
him.
absolutely not. No.
I gotta say,
I still care.
I'm
but
impressed with you in the sense that you didn't let it jade you and harden you. Because
No.
you could have totally gone the opposite direction.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and had such an anger towards anybody in the addiction world.
Yes.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
Both the addict and the practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, you joined them and you're
Yeah.
like, let me help.
I wanna fix it
Good for
and
you,
help it,
man.
yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking. Can you look into this camera, because this is the YouTube
Yes.
show? You look into that camera, and for all the women out there and all the family members out there that are so busy trying to get their son back, their loved one back, or something like that, instead of taking care of themselves first.
Yes.
Can you tell them whatever you want to tell them about that part of it for our last minute?
I would have to say go to Al-Anon or Nar-Anon meetings and start there, because there are so many people out there who are struggling with everything that you're going through, and we can relate. And when you have other people that can relate to you, you don't feel alone, and you feel that support system and that push that you need to move forward. It may not be letting them go in a certain sense, but you need that push. I had the push from God. That's who I get mine too, to get out of my situation. And if you're a single mom with an addict of a father, like, you can live your best life. You can do it without them, but also supporting them. You don't need to have them in your life to love them. I loved him to this day. I'm not in love with him, no, but I love him, and I pray to God every day that he gets the help he needs. But you can do it, and you can be where I am. You can get out of it in any situation if you work hard.
That's thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much. Listen, at the end of the day, there's a lot of people out there in very difficult situations, difficult decisions to be made ahead of you. The point is I think what I'm hearing, my takeaway is that sometimes there's a support system there the entire time, and you feel like you can't open it up, activate it, use it for whatever reason. Everybody has their reasons of why they're not activating it. But as in your story, when you did activate it, look at how
my life changed.
It just completely changed.
It flourished.
Overnight.
It really did.
Overnight.
Yep.
And that's the beautiful thing of it. Just we are always here. By the way, there's 3 people on this show right now that if you're in this type of situation that you just heard of, you can call us. You can call 833 Now Matters. That's 833 Now Matters right now, and the life will change. I guarantee you, your life will change from that moment. And whether it be one of the Blackberry centers that she represents, whether it be one of our sponsors like Journey Pure, Retreat Behavioral Health, or Northbound, or somebody like that, it doesn't matter. The facility at that point, trust me, if we're going to recommend it, it's going to be a facility that's going to hug you and hold you and love you through this process. However, if you just sit there and just talk about it, think about it, one of these days, make excuses for it, it's not going to change. Nothing's going to happen. So anyway, we have to leave now. Thank you, Maria Esquena.
Thank you.
Amazing story, Maria. Love it. Thank you very much for sharing it with us. And this has been The Couch Live. Adios, amigos. It's time for a taco. Goodbye.
And that was without even a single drop of rum.
That was awesome.